The new chant Let's Go Brandon is now being criticized as a form of terrorism. The Babylonian Bee has a therapy session with movie characters discussing their new sexual identities. Really makes you wonder how this all became a cultural norm. And finally, I will be commenting on Boba Fett's new show, The Book of Boba Fett. I'm Luke Crotzer, and this is The Luke Crotzer Show. If you have not yet subscribed to the Luke Crotzer Show, I do recommend that you do so, and be sure to click the little bell icon, that way you won't miss any of my new content. Alright, on with the show. As some of you may know, there is a new chant that's been going viral throughout the US, and even throughout the world. That chant being, Let's Go Brandon. Now before some of you start asking questions like, who is Brandon, why is he important? Here's a little context. A few weeks ago, at a NASCAR race, a news lady was interviewing a racer named Brandon, and while that was happening, we see and hear the audience, as clear as day, start chanting, F Joe Biden. However, the reporter didn't want people thinking that's what they were saying, so she decided to turn it around by saying, look, Brandon, they're chanting for you, let's go, Brandon. However, we all knew what they were saying, so we decided to take that phrase, let's go, Brandon, and make it into a fun little joke saying in a non-vulgar way, F Joe Biden, as well as highlight the fact that mainstream media lied to cover for only one political party. And that has got to be the funniest phrase I've ever heard thus far. And it's not just me. Many others have been using this phrase as well. We've had politicians say this phrase. We now have clothes with this phrase on it. And there are even songs and remixes based on this phrase topping charts. People are really taking a liking to this phrase. Well, mostly at least. Hence the story I'll be telling you today. So there was a pilot at Southwest Airlines who said this phrase on the intercom when the pilot and a bunch of passengers were about to take off. Here is a video of the pilot now.
About 7 or 8 miles an hour. Good visibility, mostly clear skies, 77 degrees. Thanks for coming out and flying with Southwest Airlines. Welcome aboard. And remember, let's go Brandon.
Now, after he said this, immediately the media started losing their effing minds. Heck, according to an article by CNN, it reads, quote, the Associated Press, which had a reporter on board the flight, first reported that a pilot of a Friday flight from Houston to Albuquerque ended his typical greeting to passengers with the phrase, let's go Brandon, which has become right-wing code for F Joe Biden. The AP report said passengers responded with audible gasp. No. And this, my dear viewers, was only the beginning. After the video and article was posted, people all over Twitter started blasting this phrase, trying to compare it as equal to, here it comes, terrorism. Of course they would. On Twitter, a woman named Asha Rangadpa said, quote, as an experiment, I'd love for a Southwest Airlines pilot to say, long live ISIS, before taking off. My guess is that 1, the plane would be immediately grounded, 2, the pilot fired, and 3, a statement is issued by the airline within a matter of hours, end quote. So this woman is trying to compare this phrase as being equal to a pledge to a terrorist organization. There are many other people who have said stuff like this. However, I'm only showing this one because it's the craziest one I've found thus far. Now, this should be the end of the story. However, there has been an update to the story that actually changes a few things. There are claims that the pilot actually didn't say the phrase, let's go Brandon, and the whole thing was just blown out of proportion. According to an article by National Review, it reads, quote, it's hard to tell because, for some reason, the recording cuts off at the key moment, but it certainly seems possible that the pilot actually said, let's go Braves, a reference to the Atlanta Braves baseball team, which is currently playing the Houston Astros in the World Series. That the ridiculous AP reporter on the plane who just happened to be writing about the phrase, let's go Brandon, heard what she expected to hear. And that passengers who apparently gasped did so because, being from Houston, from which city the plane was leaving, they're Astro fans. End quote. Now, if the pilot really did say, "Let's go Braves," that's fine. However, it doesn't make any sense that we are willing to investigate and prosecute this pilot because a reporter thought that he said, "Let's go Brandon." I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this isn't the first time we brought political insults into the workspace. Heck, when Donald Trump was in office, people talked smack about him all the time, in much more vulgar way. So, why is it any different with Joe Biden? At the end of the day, the phrase, "Let's go Brandon," isn't in any way a vulgar insult, but instead a non-vulgar phrase people use to show how they feel about Joe Biden. Believe it or not, people, Joe Biden isn't a perfect president, and there are people who disagree with him on several issues. So, instead of trying to prosecute people who don't agree or like Joe Biden, we should just instead accept it. I feel that in the current entertainment industry, they have been trying to oversexualize everything. And no, I don't mean set scenes in films. I only wish I was talking about that. What I'm referring to is this strange need to give characters a sexual identity in kids' shows. Like making a character in a film LGBTQ, not for the story, not for character growth, but just for representation. I mean, to me, I just don't understand why we do that. Especially in kids' films and TV shows. Because kids aren't thinking about that stuff, like, not at all. All they are thinking about is whether the main character will beat the bad guy in the end, or save the day somehow. However, Hollywood keeps pushing this LGBTQ agenda. While it is satirical, the Babylonian Bee released a video that sums up where children's content is headed. It features a therapy session with characters who have suffered from their new woke changes. Here's the video now.
Hi, I'm Superman. Faster than a locomotive. Can leap tall buildings in a single bound. And bisexual now.
Hi, bisexual Superman.
They just forced it on me. Didn't ask or nothing. I've been straight my whole life. But then, nope, no, not anymore. What happened to respecting someone for who they are?
We do respect who you are. You just no longer have a say in the matter.
It's Lois and Clark, not Lewis and Clark.
Well, you're bisexual, so technically it can be both. Who's next?
Me, Doctor Who. I was a man and now I'm a woman.
But doesn't Doctor Who regenerate like all the time? Maybe it was a creative decision.
Tell me with a straight face that they made me a woman for creative reasons.
I think they absolutely made you a woman for creative reasons. Okay, yeah, obviously not for creative reasons.
They made a baby character transgender. I'm a baby. I don't even know what gender is.
You guys see what I mean? We keep trying to push these sexual representations and content made for kids and teens, and when they do, they end up ruining the content for people that are watching for the story, and not trying to pick out who's baiting who, or other needless things that do nothing for the plot. I mean, why are we doing this to begin with, people? Little kids shouldn't have to worry about their sexual identities. When little kids are watching or reading content made for them, they aren't looking for any sexual representation. They're just trying to watch a good show or read a good book. With that said, it really seems like Hollywood just wants to keep pushing inappropriate content because they like the idea of brainwashing kids into thinking that they have a say in their sexual identity when they are as little as 2 years old. I just hope that one day people are going to see how unnecessary it all is and finally stop pushing this kind of stuff on little kids. So we all know in The Mandalorian, we managed to see the return of one of our favorite Star Wars characters, Boba Fett. And if you saw the after credits scene of The Mandalorian, then you would remember that Boba Fett will soon be getting his very own spin-off series. Well now, the wait is finally over, because we now have the trailer for his very own show, The Book of Boba Fett. Check out the trailer now.
I am not a bounty hunter. I've heard otherwise. I know that you sit on the throne of your former employer. Jabba ruled with fear.
intend to rule with respect.
You were all once captains under Jabba the Hutt.
I'm here to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial. Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
What prevents us all from killing you and taking what we want?
If you had spoken such insolence to Jabba, he'd have fed you to his menagerie.
Please. Speak freely.
So, we obviously don't get much story from this trailer, it's more of just a concept. However, I'm still very excited to see this. From what it looks like, the story is going to be about Boba trying to run his very own bounty hunter mafia, which I find pretty cool, kind of like The Godfather, and I am very curious on how he plans on doing any of this. I'm also curious whether we are going to see any characters from The Mandalorian. Maybe not, I won't complain. I am just curious if we might see any characters from the Skywalker saga or maybe even the Clone Wars, and that's because he was there during that time. Another question I do have is, will this show be able to stand on its own? I mean, one of my favorite things about The Mandalorian is the fact that it was able to stand on its own for a series. It really didn't need to depend on the Star Wars story to build it up. It just happened to be a story in the Star Wars universe. So I am curious if the show will do the same. Once again, I don't know too much about this show from what I'm getting from this trailer. I can only theorize what happens. Maybe Disney will give us some information about it later on. Until then, I'm still looking forward to this show, as long as it does not fall victim for the required woke content. And if you are a Star Wars fan, I can tell you're looking forward to this show as well. Well guys, that's our show for today. If you enjoy my content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to click the little bell icon, that way you won't miss any of my new content. Anyway guys, I would like to wish you a happy weekend, and I will see you all next Friday. I am Luke Crotzer, and thank you for joining me on the Luke Crotzer Show. And P.S., let's go Braves. Oh wait, no, let's go Brandon. Or, no, Braves. Ah, frick, I'm gonna get canceled if it does that yet. Well, later guys. Peace out.